Gamers, welcome to my first devlog video. Today we're mainly going to look at the game I started working on about a year ago. Because this is the first video, we're going to start by looking at all the features that are already in the game. Looking at the character model, we see that he just doesn't have a face. Aside from that, there's nothing particularly special about him. The character has a bow and sword for combat. The sword is used to block an attack at close range, and the bow is used to shoot. There's only one type of enemy at the moment, and all they sort of do is just attack. The final mechanic that I've implemented is magic. The way magic works is that when you hit an enemy with an elemental arrow, and then you hit that same enemy with your enchanted sword, it will trigger a special magical effect. Only one of the elements sort of work at the moment, and that would be Earth. Each element is going to have its own different passive effects, and Earth's passive effect would be more knockback. The special combination for combining Earth with Earth is little spikes that bury the enemies for a small period of time. That's pretty much it for the current mechanics, so let's take a look at visuals. All of the art that you see is probably going to change. The main reason being that most of the art is currently incomplete, and some of it's just going to need complete reworks. The reason I'm not using basic placeholders is because I can't handle looking at just boxes while making the game. Another visual aspect of the game would be shaders. An example of a shader would be what makes the purple fire under the pillar wiggle. I would like to explain how shaders work, but I just don't know. That's pretty much it for what's already in the game, and this video is nowhere near 10 minutes, so looks like we're gonna get to do some programming. The first thing we're gonna do is change how the enemies die. The way they die right now is kind of cringe, so we're gonna make it not. Instead of falling over, I want them to explode, because I think that would be pretty epic. So, the first thing we need to do is get rid of the original. We need to make them not die. Okay, so now the enemies should disappear. Okay, so I fixed that, and now when the enemy dies, their body parts are going to become physics-enabled, which means that they should fall after being killed. Epic. So the next step is making them detect collision with the ground. Anyways, I got that working, and I did a little bit of coding to give each body part a velocity once the enemy dies. Yeah, so a lot went wrong. Almost. Alright, I think that looks pretty good, so we can leave that for now and move on to something else. Now that the enemies die good, we need to make the enemies make the player also die good. Best way to do that? Raise. Or more accurately, just a bit of math. Thanks to the man who invented physics, we can check the player's velocity and have a little bit of an attack waiting for him once he arrives at the enemy. Some people like to say that velocity equals displacement over time, but I like to think that time is actually equal to displacement over velocity. Using that formula, the enemies will do the think, and they will know where the player's going to be. Awesome. Alright, next thing we're gonna do is change the way the enemies spawn because it's dumb and stupid and I hate it. I made the spawn bounds visible so I can see them, I guess. The main change that I did was making the enemies able to spawn in groups. This gives the player a chance to use a magic, which is generally better at taking out large groups of enemies. The last thing I did for the spawning was making it so enemies are vulnerable in the spawning process, that way the player wants to go out and, slap them up a little before they become real people. Curious. A lot of the current player animations are looking kind of wacky, so I'm going to spend the next little while spicing them up a bit. I think now's a good time to talk about the future of the game and the channel, for that matter. Regarding the actual gameplay of the game, it's going to be 2D and linear, which I know is kind of cringe, but I'm only one boy, and I can only do so much in so little time. And by so little time, I mean probably a couple years, because it takes a long time, you know? It's hard to make games. It takes coding. I don't know how to do that. Once I'm farther along with the development of the game, I can get into a little more of the specifics of the gameplay. For anyone that's curious, I'm not actually working on the game alone. My girlfriend is drawing the art, and in the future I'll be getting my brother to help me think up a bit of the story. Not only that, but my other brother will be helping me, if not completely doing all of the music. Regarding the channel, I'm going to be posting videos on here, sort of recording the progress of the game and, you know, trying to do it in a funny, quirky, and also epic way that will maybe get some of the kiddos to laugh a bit. At the time this video goes up, school will be starting again, and that's going to be taking a lot of time from me, so I'm not going to be able to work on the game or making any videos, not as much as I'd like to anyways. Regarding when I'll be uploading the next video, I don't know. It could be a month from now, it could be 6 months from now, it could be 2 weeks from now, probably no less than that. Going into the future, I'm going to be trying to change things a little bit. I think I'm going to try and do maybe just some actual live commentary, and then throw those in, just so I'm not recording all the voice lines after, because it's not even really scripted either way. I just think and then I speak, and that's how it be. I'm going to keep the videos around this sort of length because I think 10-minute videos are funny, because that's the number that people are ridiculed for making their videos to be the exact length. Of course, I'm not going to make it exactly 10 minutes. That is truly cringe, but I'll be always try to be over 10 minutes, but I guess no promises. If there are any other questions, feel free to ask. Just in the comments, I guess. Make sure to leave a question in the comments below, guys. Just leave that question. Other than that, I'm sure they'll be answered in time. That's pretty much it for everything that I wanted to talk about. So for the last little bit, why don't we just go over some stuff that was added during the making of this video, which was way too long. Yeah. First things first, we're going to take a look at the result of all that animation. The normal attacks look a little bit better. Hands are actually following the sword now. And while I was at it, I decided to add a whole new attack, and this one's for when he's sprinting or when he's just in the air. And it's a bit of a big boy. In the theme of attacks, I decided to add some flinching mechanics, so the combat's a little bit less brain dead. This allows for some attacks to have a bit of like super armor, so that they can't be interrupted by significantly weaker attacks. Though it might need a bit of balancing in the future. Moving on, we have a couple new visuals added. The first one I'll show you is a new health and mana bar. It's actually a health and mana bar, alongside with a cool element thing. And with that, you're going to notice some cool new symbols. And yes, the magic wheel has been visually updated, and gave it a couple animations just to spice things up a little bit. The only elements that appear by your health are ones that actually have some effects. So yeah, fire does have some effects, so I can show you that now. When you hit an enemy with a sword or arrow, it's gonna light them on fire. The arrow doesn't work right now, but I'll get that fixed up pretty quick. Not only that, but the effect for combining fire with fire does kind of work right now. All of this is placeholders, like the particle system. I think it looks kind of nice, but it's going to change once we can get some proper animated fire drawn up And not only that, but the fire symbol that expands when you combine fire with fire, that's supposed to be a ring of fire, but gotta get that drawn up too, and probably gonna have to think up a bit of a shader to make it do some of the wiggle. That's just about everything, so make sure to join me next time to see what we can get up to in the next little while. I'm thinking we're definitely gonna be adding some more elements. Probably a lot of bug fixing, but that'll be behind the scenes for you guys. And maybe some other wacky stuff, maybe a new enemy. I don't know. Only the future will tell. But for now, I'll catch you kids later. I want to give a big thanks to my friend What's My Name 101. This video would definitely not be happening if it weren't for him. He was a big help in a lot of different ways, so I do recommend that you go check him out. I'll probably have a link for him on the screen. He does some pretty epic stuff.